we've got some people joining, James. Nosipo, Robin, welcome.
Great, welcome. Welcome everyone. We're going to give a few moments for people to join and get over any technical hurdles they may have, and then we will introduce ourselves and get started. So very warm welcome to all of you joining.
Welcome, Sarah.
Welcome, Sarah. While we're waiting for the rest, we'd love to find out where you're joining from. So if you could let us know in the chat, if you can find the chat at the bottom of your screen, and just let us know where you're joining from, and if you're representing your any school. So for your learner or for yourself, we'd love to know where you're joining from and what kind of school, what school you're representing. If you're not representing a school, then then what organization you're representing.
I see we've also got someone watching us on Facebook.
Great, welcome. Welcome to those of you joining on Facebook. We're going to give it another minute and then we will get started. Okay, I think let's kick off. Those who are joining a little bit after can catch up. So firstly, just a very warm welcome to all of you who are joining us. Those of you who are joining us on Zoom, Nosipo, Robin, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. And those of you joining us on Facebook Live, welcome. My name is James, and I'm part of the team here at Advantage Learn, and I'm joined and supported here by Michaela, who's also part of the team. And what we're really hoping to do tonight is just in the short 60 minutes that we have with you, we want to really just take you through our advanced programs and then take you through our academies, both our academy core and then our academy plus offerings, and really just try and give you insights into why we run these programs. And how it can benefit you or your learners, and we will have some time towards the end of each 30 minutes. So it's broken up into two parts. First, we will tackle the advanced programs, and then in the second 30 minutes, just after 6, we will tackle the academy offerings. And we're hoping to get through the content and give you the insights from our side, so that we can open it to the floor for some questions if you to get through it. So try to give you the of the advanced programs that we can, while still respecting the time that we have with you. And so let's dive right in. The first part of this, as I explained, is focused into the advanced programs. Now, what's helpful is for us to assume that you're fresh and you don't have much knowledge of what the advanced programs are. I'm going to just give a little bit of an overview, firstly into what is advanced, especially maths and what
Sorry, James, I'm just going to interrupt you. I think that your internet is possibly cutting out. Cool. I think let's give James a second to maybe get his internet sorted out. And in the meantime, we will just hold a little bit. What I did want to add to James's introduction in the beginning is if you are, sorry about that, James. If you guys do have any questions, just while James is talking, please feel free to leave them in the chat, and then we'll get to answering them in the Q&A session. But James, it seems like your internet is 100% back in action, so I think we can carry on.
Hopefully it is now. Can you can you still see the screen with the slides and everything, or do I need to redo that? Let me just check in on that.
You'll need to reshare your screen.
Let me jump in. All right, there we go. Should start coming through. And we're back. Okay, hopefully this this holds up. Sorry about that. So the first part is really to explain the advanced programs. So I'll start again and repeat it just in case you didn't catch part of it because of my my internet issues, which I'll hopefully solved. So the advanced programs are offered by the Independent Examination Board, or the IB, which is more commonly known as. And they really are grade 12 certificates that are focused into areas of extension for students that are higher aptitude or above average aptitude, or want to extend themselves in some of the core subjects like maths, physics, English. And they are currently offered as a certificate, but that was not always the case. In fact, when I was at high school, it was known as additional maths. I'm giving away my age here, but they were actually recognized as part of the core subjects in the NEC, and actually went onto your national senior certificate. But what happened was the state system, the Department of Education, then decided that keeping up with these additional subjects and enhancing was difficult to find the resources and difficult to maintain. So they decided to do away with it. In that juncture, the IEB then said, well, okay, well, we see the value in this extension. And so what we will do is we will offer it as a certificate, an independent certificate that learners are able to write in their grade 12 year. And what it really covers is some university level concepts, into like a first year university level in those core subjects. Now, the philosophy of the advanced programs and why we run them as Advantage Learn, and I'll get into a bit more detail on this, is we really do believe that extending learners at a high school level above the core subjects is a very, very helpful thing to do. Because for us, it's all about challenging them and extending them to a level that really, really tests them as learners and builds a growth mindset and a lot of grit and determination. And our philosophy here is that is way more important than the actual marks achieved. And we always start these sessions with saying that these advanced programs are not easy. They are called advanced programs for a reason. And not all learners will decide to partake in these challenging programs, especially on top of their core work that they have at high school, which is already challenging in itself. But for us, it's all about what they are learning through that time, about how to, just through practice, determination, and grit, that they can actually persevere through something that is a lot harder than what they are used to. And that's the core philosophy for us. It's much greater than the marks. And our ethos here at Advantage Learn, and we've been doing the advanced programs for many, many years now, is that we really just want to encourage learners to extend themselves beyond the classroom and to prepare themselves for building that discipline and building that academic muscle that they will need when they then enter into the university or tertiary space. And that's really what our advanced programs philosophy is built on. So why choose to do AP Maths or AP Physics at a high school level? Well, there's a number of reasons to do that. Firstly, it has shown with our student cohorts that it does improve their core subject results in those subjects that they are doing. And this makes quite a lot of sense because we are extending them in maths or physics ahead of what they are learning at a school level. And that's often difficult and very challenging. But but it brings with it the level of confidence that students then gain in their normal core subjects is heightened, and that often makes their core subjects a lot easier. Well, not easier, a lot less challenging, because they're doing the advanced programs. The second and quite a big reason is that it really does help in the university applications. There's in the high demand degree programs at universities and tertiary institutions, there is really a limited supply of seats, and so tertiary institutions really have to pick who they are going to put into these degrees, and so they're looking for anything that differentiates these candidates, and often having the advanced programs in your application to a university makes quite a big difference. And for us, how we run our advanced programs is we really try, in many respects, not all, to mirror what they will experience at a university level. The way that we train is in a lecture type style. It's semesterized in our coursework, and so for us, we try to prepare learners as much as we can in our advanced programs, so that when they do reach university, and if they choose to go to university or tertiary or study at a tertiary institution, it's not something foreign to them. And so we've seen it that a lot of learners have come back to us and said, I'm super grateful that I did advanced programs, because when I got to university, I felt like I was more ready than my peers who hadn't done it, and so that's a big plus. They also find the NBTs a little bit easier if they've done the advanced programs, which is really helpful in the grade 12 year, now that learners who are learners may have to write their NBTs depending on what degree choices they are going for at their higher education institution of choice. And it really does help the mid-aptitude learners prepare for the university. A lot of university degrees come with, for example, mathematics, quants, whatever it's called in that degree program, that they are required to do. And an example of this, I had an interesting experience when I was at university, where I was asked to tutor the third year engineering students in their Statistics 101 module, which was a module that they had to do in stats when they were in third year engineering. And one of the very surprising things that I observed was how many of these really, really, really bright engineering students were finding the statistics very difficult in their third year. And it made me realize that a lot of them hadn't actually got the base of statistics and the foundation before they got thrown into this very short 6 month, 1 semester Statistics 101 course. And for me, this is a big advantage of doing like an advanced program maths, is because you get this exposure at a school level, and then you carry that foundation right through into your university. So a mid-aptitude learner has a higher probability of success through their degree program as they cover some of these subject areas. It also extends and challenges these strong students and stretches their thinking. It's often we have found that this extension is really welcomed by learners. Even though it is difficult, they really find it really, really, really beneficial and rewarding, because they feel like they're getting challenged to a level that is stretching them. And so when they are doing their core subjects, they really are feeling like there's a layer above of what they're doing that is stretching them further, and it just, the whole confidence in their learning just builds greatly as they're going through the programs. And we're seeing that international institutions are starting to recognize the advanced programs, and we're hoping that will grow. So there really are a number of reasons to do AP Maths and AP Physics. And so who should do the AP subjects? Well, simply it's learners with a strong core subject competency. If you are a learner, or you are representing a learner that really is talented in maths and physics, then they should really consider doing it. Learners who are interested in this should consider doing this, because if they want to excel in their subject matter, this will certainly help them. If they're interested and passionate about these topics. then the competitive degree programs are hard to get into. And so if you or your learner is considering trying to apply to some of these the highly competitive degree programs, then really you want to put your best foot forward. You want to get your best NBT results. You want to have other things to put into your application. And the advanced programs is very, very powerful, because when they choose, they're not only trying to differentiate the candidates, but they're also looking for the candidates that have the highest probability for success through those degree programs. So when and this brings me to another short story from my side and my experience at university, I started off in a business science degree and decided to swap to actuarial science. And when I did my first year of actuarial science, the sheer drop off of students through my semesters was immense, and it was a great eye opener to the value of putting in the effort in the early stages of my grade 10, grade 11, 12 into my additional mathematics at that time. We started in the first semester where we were required to get at least 70% for maths and at least 70% for stats. And if we didn't, we were not allowed to continue in actuarial science. That was it. That was door closed. Choose another degree program to follow. And in that, it was eye-opening to see the drop-off from that first semester to the second semester. We went from having over 100 students in that first semester to 40 in the second semester. And in the second semester, the conditions ramped up, and I said, cool, get over 70% for maths, stats, and now actuarial science 101. And if you don't, degree program stops here for you. And they're really doing that so that they can ensure that the candidates that make it through the second year have a probability of success through the degree program to actually make it to the end point. And what happened from there is we actually only ended up with 16 in the second year. So it was a sharp drop off. Now, for me, I attribute a lot of that to having a base in maths and stats from additional maths at high school, because I was able to focus my attention on, for example, the new ones like actuarial science, and just managed to get through in those. And so it's really important, the foundation, but it's also really important to the universities that are looking at it saying, that person's probably got a higher probability of making it through this kind of degree program because of what they've done. So I'm going to choose this person A over this person B. It makes sense. And then any learner going into like any kind of course that requires quantitative or scientific ability, it's really helpful. As I explained, my experience in one of them, it's shared along many of the other degree programs. And then obviously if the learner is looking to study overseas, this extension is very, very helpful as they apply. So what are the options for the AP subjects in 2021? Well, from our side at Advantage Learn, we focus on the two AP subjects, maths and physics. There are other advanced program subjects, but these are the two that we focus on. And we really deliver these and enable students to study these AP subjects from grades 10 to grade 12 in two forms. Self-study video lessons, so that's guided self-study. They study on their own at their own pace, but it's really managed and it's high touch from our side, where we help these learners through it. And so they get studio produced video lessons that are prescribed to them, that they study every week in their own time, and they're able to pause, rewatch, rewind, learn at their own pace, and they are coached by a dedicated AP Maths coach through that, or AP coach through that. We then have live lessons that are then taught online by our AP educators. So that happens in the week, and during that, there's a support member, a learning support member that helps with any student queries, questions, etc. As that lesson is happening, to make it the most helpful learning experience, live learning experience in that session. And so I'll explain the layout of those lessons a bit later, but those are really the two streams that we offer, the self-study and the live lessons. Now, it's important at this juncture that I explain that neither is better than the other. It really just depends on what the learner's best type of learning is. Some learners are really really do benefit from the self-study, where they're able to plan their week, schedule their time according to how they want to schedule it, and follow and progress through the AP subject at their own pace and in their own diary management. Whereas others are better at, this is the time I need to be there, I'm going to be in that live lesson, and I just need to make sure that I'm at that live lesson at that time, and that is beneficial for them. We have seen both have produced candidates of equal caliber. Neither produces higher results than the other, and we really do believe in both of these and work quite hard at offering the best solution in both of these areas. At present, we only have self-study for the AP Maths programs that we run. We don't have it for the AP Physics yet. AP Physics is a very new advanced program that the IB has started offering, and so we're only in the second year, or the second year of that from the IB level, and from our side, it's our first year in offering this, and so we're delivering that through live lessons in this year. So in studying the AP Maths, or the AP subjects through Advantage Learn, there's obviously AP Maths and there's AP Physics that we offer. Some students do both, some students do one of them. It is important to recognize that this is an extracurricular program. So it is done outside of their usual school work. For the AP Maths, we do it exactly as to how the IEB recommends it is taught, and that's for 3 years starting in grade 10. So we focus on building a foundation in grade 10, and then moving through the content right through to grade 12, where we prepare the learners for that, writing that certificate at the end of grade 12. And then the AP Physics, we also follow the recommended structure from the IEB, and that's a 2-year program from grade 11 to grade 12. And it's important to note that that physics is really starts to be offered at a school level in grade 10. There is natural sciences earlier than that, but it really starts at grade 10, whereas maths is running from grade 8 and earlier. So they starting it at grade 11 is more helpful for these learners, and it's a 2-year program. The AP Maths is 32 weeks, the AP Physics is 28 weeks. The lesson times are the same, and the assessment structures is 4 assessments per year, and that's the same. And we've really groomed this process over many years to make it as helpful as possible to learners, noting that it's an extracurricular program, that this is in addition to their core work, and it's very important to us that their core work comes first. That is what counts as a base. This is additional, extension, etc. So we really try to build that ethos of make sure you're covering your core subjects, and then cover your AP subjects. But we built it into a very helpful structure where they just invest 90 to 120 minutes effort per week, and they can continue through these advanced programs. So the syllabus breakdown is as follows. In AP Maths, there are 2 mandatory subject areas, and that's calculus and algebra. And then there are three that you get to choose what you have to write in the end of your grade 12. So you can choose either statistics, finance and modeling, or graph theories and matrices. In the past, in the recent in our courses, we've always advocated very strongly for statistics, even though it is found to be slightly more difficult to do. And the reason why we've done that is just because we found it's got the widest application at a tertiary level for our students. So helping them to build that base of statistics earlier on is really going to benefit them when they actually are studying. And so statistics has really been the one that we really do advocate strongly for choosing, even though it is harder, because for us, it's not about the results. We enable our students to get the results that they want to get and put in the work to get them, and students do exceptionally well in our programs. But it's really about what they're learning and how they're learning it. That's the important ethos here. AP Physics then covers mechanics, analytical skills, thermal physics, modern physics, charged particles and electric and magnetic fields, and oscillation. So a great syllabus in either of those. So what is the final exam for these subjects? At the end of grade 12, there is an exam that is written in in the advanced program. So whichever one that you're doing. Usually, and we've seen this in recent years, it's always been the same. It is one of the first exams that the students will write in their grade 12 calendar. So it'll be their final exams. They'll probably write their advanced programs earlier on in that. And in their grade 12 year, they are required to register for this exam. And the cost of that registration is about, this year it's 1,028 Rand. And we help all of our learners to register for their IB exam, whether it's through their school or through us. We enable them to do so that they can write that exam at the end. Now, it's not mandatory for them to do that. Again, we encourage all of our learners, and most of them choose to do this, but it is not mandatory. They get to choose whether they are going to write this exam. But we really do strongly encourage it, and if they do, then they will need to achieve a 40% or higher result to get their IB certificate. That is then delivered to their center that they've chosen or where they've written their exam. Pretty much in January, the second week of January the following year. And that's what our programs, our advanced programs aim towards, is this final exam in grade 12. So the lesson days that we run these on for our live lessons are as follows. For AP Maths, for grade 10, it's Monday from 5:30 to 7. Tuesday is for grade 11s from 5:30 to 7:30. It's a 2 hours. So grade 10, we're easing them into it with an hour and a half lesson. Then we step it up in grade 11 to the 2 hour, 120 minutes lecture. And then grade 12, it's also 120 minutes, and that happens on a Thursday. And then we've scheduled our AP Physics to enable our learners that choose to do both programs with us to be able to do so. So on Thursday, we do grade 11 from 5:30 to 7, and then on Friday on Tuesday we do grade 12 from 5:30 to 7, and those are our lesson days for the live lessons. So what is the cost of this program? It's an annual program, and the total cost for the full year for one learner is 6,670 Rand. We do offer a payment plan. We realize it might be a big payment upfront, so we offer a payment plan for those of you who choose to take it up, and that is 1167.25 for 6 months. Now, our programs have started for this year, so we realize that, and so if you do choose to join us now and you're obviously joining late, then there is a reduction that is applied due to the time miss, and you can just get in touch with us for that reduction, and we will then apply it to your course cost should you choose to join the program late. And just on that note, learners are able to catch up. It's not too late for them to catch up. So our coaches are very used to having learners join at this stage, and they're very used to catching them up. And we really are committed to helping that. All of our lessons are recorded. They are recorded and delivered to our learners very quickly after the lesson into their learning environment, which is run by us and built by us. They really get a world-class learning experience with this, and they're able to catch up and repeat any of that content that has passed. So it's really, for us, we're used to catching learners up and getting into a stage where they feel comfortable. Their foundations are still solid, even though they might have missed a couple of lessons through the year. So I wouldn't worry too much about that if that is part of your consideration. So how do you apply? Very simply, just navigate to advantagelearn.com. You can click on a button to go through to the advanced programs or /advanced programs. Choose the advanced program you want to apply to, and then just click the apply now and fill out the form. On that form, you'll be able to apply to both AP Physics and AP Maths, should you choose to go through that application, and then we will take it from there. So that's the advanced programs in a nutshell. There's a lot more that I could have dived into, so let's now take the last couple of minutes and see if there's any questions.
Okay, just having a look now to see if there are any questions. I think let's give it a little bit of time. I don't see any.
Sure. I'm just going to open up.
But yeah, in the meantime, just in case someone's frantically typing out a question, I just thought I'd go on your point, James, of how a lot more people do maths in first year university than they think. And
Yeah.
just looking at my brother as an example, he's studying BCom marketing management and he's doing statistics 101. And so it just shows how common, even if you're going into a more creative field, it's quite a common module that can pop up.
Yeah,
So
and it's a lot of students struggle with it. In my experience, what I've observed. So it's really helpful to have a base layer there for sure. And it's a great point, Michaela, how widely it does the mathematical kind of quants, what they call it, statistics 101, slips into a lot of degree programs at some stage.
yeah, 100%.
Great. Okay, perfect. Please do feel free to log any questions you have in the Q&A or on the chat. Write them down. We can even bring you up online later on should you remember them. But yeah, we're here to help. So do store up those questions and we'll answer them later on. But let's move straight into the academies then, and then hopefully we'll have a little bit extra time for the questions at the end. So the second part of this is around our academies, and so I'm going to walk you through what our Academy offering is and our Academy Plus offering is, what the difference between those two are, why we run them and why we believe in them, and then how you can get involved. So let's dive in. Our academies we launched last year. And we really believed that we needed to build some offerings that focus specifically into performance and extension in the core subjects. So I've just covered the advanced programs that extends learners toward with topics and areas of study that kind of go into the tertiary level of study. But we really believe that there was a lot of value to helping learners extend themselves and also fill gaps in their core subjects. And we believe that we could do that in a really helpful way, following one of our philosophies that we've always believed in academically as an organization. And that's as follows. We really believe that every learner has gaps in their knowledge of a subject. And so constantly and consistently trying to close those gaps is very, very beneficial to their learning progression. We also then believe that once those gaps are filled, or even other concepts they've learned in the past and really understood, it's critical that they revise often and are tested often on those different areas and subject topics that have been covered. And then on top of that, they're also extended in these. And through that constant kind of cycle of closing gaps, making sure that students revise concepts learned and extending on those concepts learned, we've really seen great benefit from that process, and we've seen learners excel. And it's really not something that we've just kind of come up with in the last couple of years. It's been built on decades of experience of Trish who heads up our maths academy, really running this methodology and seeing great results with her classes of learners in mathematics. And so for us, that's the basis of our philosophy. We really focus our learners every single week on closing their gaps, revising what they've already learned, and then extending them on the foundations that they've already built. And through this repetition, this spaced repetition, we really start to see their excellence in the subject start to grow, and their progression start to grow. And for us, again, it's not about the top achievers getting 100%. They can, through this, they can do that. But it's about seeing our learners' marks and results progress, and their confidence in these subjects really progress in a helpful manner and a meaningful way over time. And that's the substance of our academy. And we really believed when we started these programs that we could make a difference to a cohort of learners' lives by just focusing that methodology and philosophy into them and really helping them, wrapping around them, supporting and encouraging them, and really doing the hard work with them as they progress through their academic career at a high school level. So that's the Academy. Now, why we believe that you should consider joining the Academy or the Academy Plus is because, firstly, we really do believe that a lot of results are built on the back of confidence in your subject area. And we really try to focus in on that with our students, building the confidence that they can walk into assessment, know they've done enough work and good work, and that they can really go out and tackle these questions and assessments and get the results they need or want in their subjects that they're writing. So it's about building confidence. It's also about preparing for their future. So getting the results that they need or they deserve and can achieve is very important to their future, especially in the subjects of maths and science. It opens a lot of doors. But further than that, in our Academy Plus, which we offer robotics at the moment, it's about exposure to new skills, and I'll explain that a bit later. It also is very helpful for these learners to build their understanding with experts, and we really do try to put some of the best educators in front of these learners so that they have access to an expert at their fingertips every week. They can access an expert and progress in their maths, science, or robotics. They can learn anywhere, which is really beneficial. Our academies are all offered digitally, and so as long as they've got an internet connection and a device, they can learn with us. And we focus, as I mentioned, on that consistent revision and spaced reinforcement. Now, teaching at schools is a very difficult task, and my heart goes out to all educators. I grew up with my mom as an educator, and so I'm very close to the challenges in the classroom. And the workload is enormous for educators, and so to go and then put on revision and space reinforcement and all of these things that really breed excellence above what a student is performing at the current level is a lot of work and is hard to do because there's not enough time in the day. And so we really do believe that it's necessary, and we add that layer in our academies and focus in on that consistent revision and space reinforcement. And then we deliver supplementary resources to our learners that help them through in these subjects, and we really try to prepare them beyond what the curriculum that they're studying at a school level at the moment. So who should join the academy? Any learner that's wanting to extend themselves, any learner that is interested in maths, physical science, or robotics, and any learners who want to stay on top of their work through their school days, so that it eases the load at exam time. Consistent work every week where there's accountability. They are joining us. There's a community of learning in that grade. That academy is a very powerful format. It really allows these learners to arrive at their exams at the end point and be like, I'm actually really feeling really good and prepared about this because I put in weeks of repeated hard work towards this, and I've been guided in this regard. So it really helps them to stay on top of work instead of arriving at an exam time and having to cram in these subjects. It's also for learners who want and need some additional support, whether it's an extension or remediation. Our academy is there for that reason. And we really try to create a community of learning, of focused learners who are committed to improving their results over time and trusting the process that we have implemented to help them achieve that. So we kind of liken ourselves to a very good coach. We're there to make sure the right things are done at the right time, so that when you do get to competition, you're ready, or as ready as you can be. And for us, this is why we don't take in all learners into our academies. We measure learners on what we call internally plus factor, and we have a schema towards that measurement of what that is. That involves a number of different things, showing a track record of commitments to academic progress, to like dedication now to actually performance to, there's a number of things. I won't go through all of them, but we really measure that plus factor, and if a learner has it, then we want to work with them. And so that is why in the application process, we're quite thorough as we move through it, to ensure that we are selecting the learners who are there to work with us, to trust the process, and to really reap the rewards in their results over time, whatever that might be. If that's going from a 50 to a 60 or a 30 to a 40, whatever that might be, that's what we want to work with, that progression, and try to be helpful in that regard. So how does the academy work? Well, the core academy is split into our two subject areas, and that's maths and science. And you start to see a theme here. Our advanced programs, maths and science. Our academy is maths and science. So our maths academy runs grade 8 to 12. So all through every single grade, we run our maths academy. Our science academy runs from grade 10 to 12. As I mentioned earlier, the advanced programs, the natural sciences end in grade 9, and then the core subject of science starts from grade 10. So we start our academy at that level. The live weekly lessons, they get access to our full supplementary resources that we have built, and that we deliver to learners. So pre-recorded studio lessons and resources that they get access to, which is maths and science online, and then these weekly tests that often is quite daunting for learners, but they through time, we find that they get to actually love them. Every week we are focusing on that spaced repetition and that revision and that extension. So this culminates in weekly tests that are marked by the educators, who then are learning on a weekly basis how the learners are doing and progressing and spotting the gaps that they need to fill. And the parents and guardians are also receiving the progression, and they get the results and feedback from the educators. And so it's a really cyclical structure that is massively helpful, because the feedback is weekly, not termly, not monthly, weekly. And that really does help. It's designed by subject matter experts. In the math side, it's designed by Trish Pike, and on the science side, it's designed by Tyler Rodriguez and Crispia Lees, in terms of the structure and content. And they all educate in those academies as well. The dates and times for the academies are as follows. We've also tried to structure these so that learners can be on the Maths Academy and the Science Academy. And so how those classes run is on a Thursday, we have from 5:30 to 6:30, we have the grade 8 maths. Friday from 4 to 5:30, so 4:05 to 5:30, we have the grade 9s. On Friday, from 2:30 to 5 to 4, we have the grade 10s. On Friday, from 4 to 5:30, we have the grade 11s. And then Friday, 2:30 to 5 to 4, we have the grade 12s. Now, that seems like it might be a little bit illogical. Why didn't it just go in order of times? But you'll see how it relates to the science structure, that it then maps up. And then on Friday, for science grade 10s, we run from 4 till 5:30. From grade 11s from 2:30 to 5 to 4, and then grade 12s from 5 past 4 to 5:30. And so, as you'll note there, if you're a student, let's say in grade 11, and you're wanting to do the Science Academy and the Maths Academy together, you would then log in, at 25 past 2 on a Friday, and you would be at your desk studying till 5:30, and you'd cover both your science and maths. And if you're in grade 12, you would start at 2:30 and you'd finish at 5:30 as well, but just in the reverse subject order. So we've tried to be as helpful as possible as that, and also group most of the grades towards the Friday, so it fits in with a lot of schedules, and which is often difficult. So the Academy includes worksheets and notes, tests and memos, lesson recordings that are then available to these learners through our learning environment every week. Online support, they get access to online support, to their test feedback that is delivered to both the learner and the learner stakeholder, whether it be a parent, teacher, guardian. And in addition to that, we include all of our exam workshops and self-study tools to our academy students at no additional cost. So that is completely included, and it is really valuable. And we use all of those through the academy. as we prepare learners for getting achieving higher results. So how much does the core academy cost? It's 2,870 Rand per term. And our structure is into a 4-term structure. We found that the most appropriate it covers the 3-term structure as well. So 2,870 Rand per term. And yeah, it's a total value for what you get, including exam workshops and the resources and etc. It's about a value of about 18,300 Rand, and that you get for about 2,870 Rand per term. And we've just broken that down on a helpful table there to show the value breakdown. So then it brings me to the Academy Plus. Now the Academy Plus is a new addition to the Academy family, and it started this year. And we've always been on a mission to really help students to become agents in the 4th Industrial Revolution and not objects. So preparing them to really take part in the 4th Industrial Revolution. So how we believe we can really help in this regard is by helping learners with their STEM subjects to achieve the best results they can, but then also through exposing them to new fields and emerging careers at a younger age, and with it, exposing them to new skills that might not be in the core curriculum yet. And so our Academy Plus is really about that. It's about helping learners be exposed to skills and emerging careers, call it, in the 4th Industrial Revolution. So our philosophy is to really bridge the gaps of skills between what will exist in the future, what they'll be required to do, and what is being taught at schools at the moment. So to really be helpful in that gap that exists and will always exist as industry rapidly focus on certain things, and then the academic structures get put in place over time. So we really want to bridge that gap earlier, so that students can keep up, and then to help them to excel in those areas of skills and extend themselves and expose themselves to these many different things. So our philosophy is kind of just broken down in that way, bridging the gaps, the skill gaps, and the exposure gaps, helping students to excel through how we do this and extending them through that process, and that gives them the power of 4 hour. And so our first Academy Plus is the Robotics Academy, and we started this year. It's not grade specific. It's live weekly lessons, and the learners are taken through a number of different projects where they learn skills through those projects. They get access to all the video lessons, and it's a 1-year course. And there's no prerequisite knowledge needed. This current Robotics Academy Plus is focused at a beginner's level, and it's a really well structured program that Resolute Robotics and Advantage Learn have worked together on putting together and really enabling students who may not have access to be exposed to this kind of this area, robotics, in their normal school, and they might want to do it in an extracurricular way, and that's why we have begun offering it as an Academy Plus. So the times that the Academy Plus runs, it all happens digitally, so learners can study and learn with us in the comfort of their own home or where they are, as long as they've got a device of internet connection. They are currently we started offering two lesson options to students, and they chose the Wednesday. So it runs on a Wednesday from 5:30 to 7 is when the Robotics Academy at the moment runs in this year. And the curriculum is broken down as follows. There's 3 modules. The first module is an engineering module that focuses on building an autonomous line car that follows a line, and the learners will get their kit, and then they'll build this with the experts through the course of that first module, and the aim is to get their robot to follow a line. And then the second one is also an engineering module, except it now focuses access control using RFID tags. So your tap systems with an RFID tag that can open and close and things. And this is focused, they are guided through this pre-recorded video lessons and in their live lessons, and it culminates in a project of access control, and it also has a lot of work that is done in their mid-year break on this. So they self-study and practice in a time that they have a bit more available time to do so than in their normal school term. And then it really builds up to the third module, which has a lot of computer science and data analytics in it, where they actually build a game, and they build it in a code language called Python. And so they would have learned a little bit of coding all the way through to this point in the modules, and this is really then, it focuses quite heavily on the entry point into actual development in Python and the data science aspects of it there. So that's the curriculum structure for the Academy Plus. It is then priced as follows. There's a kit that needs to be bought, and that is hardware that is used through this Academy Plus, and that has a cost of 2,700 Rand that is shipped to the learners. And then there is the actual teaching and academy component, which is 6,560 Rand for that year program. So it comes to about a total price of about 9,260 Rand, including the hardware for that Robotics Academy. And it includes access to all the live lesson recordings on our learning environment. So just like with our other offerings, if a student does miss a lesson, they can always catch it up. It's always there for them. If they want to repeat it and watch it again, it's always available to them on the learning environment. It also comes with pre-recorded lesson content, which is very helpful, and it's 16 weekly live lessons that guide learners through some of the harder elements of it, and then allow them to self-study at the same time in the mid-year break, and it culminates in a completion certificate, again, which is very helpful to show they've gone above and beyond at their school level and studied something to extend themselves. So how do you get involved? Quite simply the same as our advanced programs. If you want to get involved in any of our academies, you navigate to www.advantagelearn.com. And then you go to, if you're going to the academy subjects, go to the academy subjects, and as you can see on the screen there, and you just fill out the application form. It's the same application form for all. So if you want to apply to advanced programs and academy, same application form, and you can fill it out and apply, and our team will take it from there. That is the Academy and Academy Plus offering, much more focused into core subjects, and then the extension of new skills that are emerging in new areas of interest in study. So now we have, I think, around 5 to 7 minutes for any questions. I hope I've done a decent justice, and I haven't missed over anything pertinent. I don't think I have. We got through all the core facets of the two programs, but if I have, please do ask a question now, and that'll spark my memory. So if there are any questions, please do post them in the chat or in the Q&A, and we can try and answer them for you now.
Amazing, thanks, James. I see we do have a question in the Q&A. So Taileko says, my daughter has not done AP Maths or AP Physics, and I would like to know if she might struggle writing her NBTs.
So for the NBTs, the National Benchmark Tests, one of the first things I will say with regards to this is learners must prepare for the NBTs. It's a different assessment structure to what they are used to, and it's really the reason that we as Advantage Learn in 2014 started our journey towards helping learners prepare for the national benchmark tests. And so I want to jump off on this point because it's a really good question. I know there's a lot of anxiety around these NBTs. We saw this with our advanced program learners in 2014. And then we committed ourselves to developing resources to help learners prepare for the NBTs. And so having confidence to write the MBTs is very, very important. And so my first recommendation here is going to be, have a look at our national benchmark test offerings that we have. That's the jumping off point. You don't need to do the advanced programs to prepare for your MBTs is the point I'm trying to make here. You can prepare without your advanced programs. The advanced programs are helpful, but they are not necessary to prepare for your MBTs in a helpful way. So have a look at some of our offerings that we have, where we actually help learners to prepare for their MBTs. We've got both self-study offerings, and we've got live offerings as well, in person and, well, COVID depending, in person, and live lessons online as well. So have a look at that. But it really isn't necessary for them to go and do AP to prepare for their MBTs. Your learners should choose to do advanced programs purely on the basis of those advanced programs. It's just a helpful external benefit that our learners do find it a little bit easier to write their MBTs, especially the MAT if they're doing the advanced program maths. So I hope I've answered your question there. Any other questions?
I don't see any questions.
Another one in the chat. Thanks. Yeah. So how soon should she start prepping? She states for writing the MBTs around June. Okay. Another great question. In terms of the MBTs, the first thing that you want to get right is you want to decide a time when you think is right for your learner to write the MBTs. That's the first thing. Now, that's often a difficult process, and I recognize this, because you have to wait for the NBTs, the National Benchmarks Test, to actually release when they are running their tests. And so that usually happens at about the beginning of April. When those test dates are released, it then gives you the opportunity to choose the right date for your learner. And this is the important part, because you want to time it at a time when they do have an opportunity to do a bit of preparation before they write. Usually they'll be required to write on like a Saturday, and so you wouldn't be writing an exam in their normal school on the Friday, and then the following day they're writing an NBT. We'd advise against that. The NBT needs a focus. It needs a focus from you as a parent or guardian and your learners. So getting the timing right in a time that there's less pressure around your learner. So they're not being forced into tests, they're not being forced to focus on that. And so the choice of date there is the first thing. Choose the right date for your child and book that test, because they once they're booked up, they booked up. So that's the first part. But on that note, we're still waiting to see if they're going to be fully online assessments or they're going to be in-person assessments. So if they're online, booking the date will be a lot more flexible. Then once that date is decided and fits into your calendar, what we recommend is we then, if you are booking a live preparation session with us, so either in person or online, try get that preparation as close to that test date as possible. So 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, 1 week before even, the live preparation is very helpful to get it close to there. If they are doing the self-paced, we recommend that those learners commit to about a 2-month period before, and they start actively just chipping away at the content and preparing for it. So let's say if they're writing around June, then they should start preparing from now in April if they're doing self-study. If they wanted to prepare self-study and in the live session, then start preparing self-study in April and go to a live session in May and preparing for the June is kind of the recommendation there. Is it true that learners can rewrite MBTs if they didn't pass it the first time? That is true. It is true. Okay, and they can do that. And what I will say with this is it follows a similar structure to like the SATs in the United States, which if you do write it a second time, I think I'm not sure whether those results are blocked. So if you've written it a second time, a university will be able to see if both those results that you have written. So it's important. What we say is we advise, put your best foot forward in that first MBT. Try and get it as right first time as possible, because if you're happy with that result in the first instance, that's the best thing. Don't put another result on there. But it can be helpful in some cases if that result improves and it shows progression. So you can write it twice. Whether it's beneficial or not, it really is in the eye of the beholder, who's the person who's looking at those MBT results, and we don't know what they will feel about that. So we can't give a straight answer on that, unfortunately, but we do believe in making sure that you put your best foot forward in the first time that you write those MBTs. Try and get it right first time. Prepare well, get it right first time. But they can write it twice if they want. Pleasure, no problem. And if you have any questions around the advanced programs, the Academies, Academy Plus, or the MBTs, we do have an MBT webinar coming up in the near future dedicated to the MBT, so do join us for that if you want further details on those ones. But please do reach out to us. You can reach out to our team at advantagelearn.com. You can click and chat to our support team there, or phone us there. You can also get in touch with myself at james@advantagelearn.com. I'd be more than happy to help with any questions that you have. Just drop me an email and we can take it from there. But I'm really grateful to all of you for joining us this evening. We really do thank you for coming and hearing us out and hearing what we do and how we do it. We hope it's been valuable. And if you have any further questions, thoughts, ideas, anything, drop me a line at james@advantagelearn.com, or get in touch with the team at either info@advantagelearn.com or on our website. All the details are there. Michaela, thank you so much for your help this evening. Really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody. I hope you have a safe evening forward and a good long weekend.